Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the third day of the Yucca Valley Film Festival. We have with us this morning 5 script writers, I guess coming from all over the place. We're going to ask them that. This is the third day of the Yucca Valley Film Festival. You've been watching William Baldwin already. You're gonna have the chance to watch Iggy Pop today. And we have more than 40 films this year, and we received amazing scripts. We have a script category, which was very successful last year in 2019, and that's been also very successful this year in 2020. So we are going to talk with you guys and girl, and we're going to try to understand what the script about, what your writing routine is, if you have one, and try, guys, because imagine the people watching us did not read the scripts, so you have to kind of give them a taste of it and what's your story about. Let's start with Joan. Joan, can you tell us a little bit, where are you, kind of state and kind city, and what's your background?
Yeah. I'm in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
Beautiful Chicago. And my script is called Scoot. And it's about Maddie Faye. She's a super popular teenager. And she has her brother. He's kind of a loser. And then her younger sister, well, she's kind of just a fat little klepto. And her mom, her head's in the clouds with harlequin romances. That's all she wants to do. So it opens with the mom dreaming about handsome hunk. She burns the pancakes. The dad walks in and he's like, why can't I have a normal family? So he walks out all ticked off, goes down the street. He sees a cat in the tree and he's like, oh my God, I'm going to rescue it. Goes up in the tree, rescues the cat, and he witnesses a mob hit across the street, and bing, bang, boom, the whole family is dumped into witness protection. And oh my God, well, they live in Chicago, so they're totally happening. And the city's exciting. And oh my God, they have to go to godforsaken Iowa. There's corn everywhere, and they're turned Irish. They have new Irish identities. And that sucks for popular Maddie Faye. She's once popular, now totally a loser. She has to be a competitive Irish dancer. And her brother, who is kind of a loser, is now all hip, cool soccer player. And the little daughter, well, she's still fat and still a klepto, and she's got problems, but she would kill to be a competitive Irish dancer. So the feds leave them, and the town starts filling up with mob. Oh
Okay,
my God.
that sounds like an adventure. We're going to get back to that. Can you just tell us your background in terms of writing or in terms of artistic background?
Yeah. Well, I've been writing since I was little. I had underground newspaper dissing on all of my Catholic schoolmates in school. Then I went on to just write tons of sketch comedy. I'm into comedy, and I write features and shorts, and I love it. That's what I do.
Okay, perfect. Stephen Wise, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how did you become a writer?
Sure. I'm currently living in Pensacola, Florida. I've been kind of like Joan. I've been writing ever since I could pick up a pencil. And I actually went to film school at the University of Central Florida in Orlando and studied not only filmmaking, but screenwriting there as well.
Okay, amazing. The title of your script?
Paradigm.
Paradigm. Okay, we're going to get back to the pitch right after that, okay? Stephen number 2, Stephen Floyd, can you tell us a little bit about you? Where are you? Are you in the United States? And what's your background?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
I'm a carpenter for 2 small theaters here. I've been a carpenter for 37 years, and I've also been a teacher. So I've taught refugees, kids, how to, write English, and writing also for, non-foreign kids, for American kids.
Okay.
In inner city school. So.
Okay. The title of your script?
The Llandudno File.
The Llandudno File. Okay.
Llandudno is a small town in Wales, and it looks over the Irish Sea to Ireland.
Okay, we're gonna come back to that.
Okay.
Robert, where are you?
I am in San Diego.
Okay.
Uh,
and what's
and,
what's the background?
My background, I've been writing like the others ever since I was, like I said, could pick up a pencil. And I've written short stories, poetry. I started writing one-act plays and plays when I was in college. When I also did spec scripts for television shows back in the 70s, and which, of course, and had several of them actually filmed, which was actually fun. And worked for San Diego City Schools for 20 plus years. And when I retired, I decided I wanted to go back to writing. So that's exactly what I've done.
Okay. And what's the title of your script?
A Christmas Without Snow.
Christmas Without Snow. Okay, so let's hope this is not going to happen, I hope, because I want snow every Christmas.
Well, in San Diego, it might.
No, San Diego. I'll just drive up about an hour into it. Just don't want it down here.
Absolutely. Cameron, can you tell us a little bit about you and what's your background?
Yeah, of course. My name is Cameron A. Mitchell. My script is called Walks Among Us. I live here in LA. I'm from Anchorage, Alaska originally, but I've lived here for about 7.5 years now. Just like everybody else, I'm going to sound a little bit unoriginal when I say I don't remember a time when I wasn't writing and when I didn't know that I wanted to be a writer. But when I moved to LA in 2013, I realized that I also really love directing. And so I'm a writer-director. I produce as well. I run a small but mighty production company called Tequila Mockingbird Productions with my 2 partners. And, I still do a lot of freelance stuff. I'll work as an ND or I'll do other production things because I just like to stay busy. But, we specialize in short films, music videos, commercials, kind of anything we can get our hands on. And while we're working up to doing our first feature, which could be this one or it could be a different one. We have a few balls up in the air, and it's hard to say which right now.
You're keeping busy, ready. That's good. That's
Trying
good.
to.
Perfect. Joanne, back to you. You started the pitch already, so let me jump to the next question. It sounded, what you pitched sounded like an adventure. I hope it's not from real events.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, it's just that I have a super duper love for anything Irish and Irish step dancing. I was a huge fan all growing up, and I danced it all. And I just thought they were the most breathtaking girls out there, but they have these big curly wigs, and there's so much room there for people making fun of them. And so I thought, oh gosh, what if we made someone become that? And I couldn't resist, and I laughed and had so much fun writing it.
Awesome, perfect. Stephen Wise, Paradigm. What's it about?
Well, I wanted to explore basically what would happen if you have a secret, and it's something that is really, if it gets out, would be devastating to you in your life. And so we have the main character is Morgan, who has a really nice life. He's married to a woman he loves, very comfortable life, good job, and someone from his past reappears and brings with him this secret that may be unveiled.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds cool. Is it? Sounds like a thriller. Is it?
It is. Yes.
Okay. It is. Stephen Floyd. Have you said the title was a Llandudnophile, and it was a small town in Wales. Have you been there yourself?
Yes, that's why it's set there.
Okay, so you've been there and you've been inspired by that place, and you wrote the script?
Yes, it's about an American reporter who receives information from a West German spy in 1970. And the spy tells her that the West German SST program, the supersonic transport, is being sabotaged. And this is a fictionalized account of a 1972 scandal in the Bonn government.
Okay.
Where an East German sabotaged their plane on the drawing board. They were warned in 1968 and 1970, and they did nothing, and it cost them about 100 million Deutsche Marks, which is about $350 million in 1970. Was a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's is it like a war script, spy and war, and or is it a thriller?
Spy,
Spy.
suspense.
Okay,
I like,
good.
I want it to come out as suspense.
Sounds like it. The way you pitch it, it's exactly sounds like it. So that's good. Robert, what's your pitch about? What's your script about? A Christmas Without Snow. So is it a romantic comedy?
Actually, it's more like a romantic drama.
Okay.
It is basically like an LGBT Hallmark film. And it concerns a young man who has left his small town, moved to New York, become a successful lawyer, and has not been back to his small town since he graduated from high school. And his mother becomes ill, and he has to go back there for Christmas. And while he's there, he discovers that the object of his affection all through high school has moved back to that small town as well. Now, he's not out to his mother. He's not out to anybody, basically, including the friend. And the friend is in the same position he is. He's come back from Chicago to take care of his ailing grandfather. And you have all this not being able to express yourself and your feelings. And when the one from New York comes to the small town, he starts getting involved in his small town with the people who were there, even some of the people that didn't treat him very well in high school.
Okay, so you have the ingredients of a comedy and of a Christmas film, but kind of leaning to the drama side.
Right. And the idea of the Christmas Without Snow is the area that they're in. They're creating a Christmas carnival for the kids, which they do every year, but there hasn't been any snow in the town. So it's kind of hard to have sledding contests and snowman contests when there's no snow. And that's a theme throughout the entire movie, is the fact that there's no snow, but they still have enough faith that it's going to have snow that they build their Christmas carnival.
Perfect. Cameron, what's your script about? Walks Among Us. Who's us and who's walking?
Well, that's kind of that's funny that you asked. That's sort of the question that the whole movie is trying to ask. I've always been fascinated by the idea of religious horror. And so this movie takes place almost entirely inside a church after a service, and it features the Pastor Daniel and 11 congregants who get trapped inside by supernatural forces. And something is killing people one by one. It's a horror movie, obviously. It's not a romantic comedy. So something's killing people, and they quickly realize that there's not someone else in there with them, but one of them actually isn't who they seem. One of them is some sort of demonic imposter. And so the whole movie is sort of it's kind of like The Thing or The Mist or something like that, where you have this very big cast of characters, and they all have their different conflicts and histories with one another. And somebody is not who they seem, so they have to figure out who that is before they kill. They all die.
Okay, it sounds a little bit like The Thing. Yeah, they have to survive an hostile environment that
Exactly.
They trap.
Even if you're friends or even if you're in a romantic relationship, you can't necessarily lean on that, because that person who is your friend or that person who is your boyfriend or girlfriend, they might not actually be that person.
Okay. Joanne, so it's about Irish tap dancing. So is it a comedy? Is it a drama?
Straight up comedy.
Straight up comedy?
Yes.
Okay. What would you compare the script to any existing movie so we could figure out what it could look like?
Well, I would take the elements of like how the characters, get along, the chemistry with like Bridesmaids to whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an ensemble cast, and they just are always getting into things. Like once the town starts filling up with mob the only way out is winning the national televised step dancing competition. So she throws together this really awful group that don't know how to dance. And so, you know, she has to she thinks she just has to get in, you know. Lo and behold, they have to win it to get on TV so the feds can come back and rescue them. So they're all just, these things are happening. They totally suck as a dance team. They're made fun of all the time, but they pull it together. Yep.
Okay, perfect. It's exciting. It sounds really cool. Stephen Wise, you said you don't remember a time when you picked the pencil from the first time. Do you still write scripts with a pencil, or do you use a computer?
No. No, I actually, my go-to program is Movie Magic Screenwriter.
Okay.
I know it's not industry standard of Final Draft, but I've been working with Screenwriter for many, many years, and I really like the program.
I've never used Movie Magic myself, but I've heard good things about it. A lot of people use it.
It actually offers a lot of different features that Final Draft does not have, and it also, if you are going into production yourself, it offers a lot of built-in tools for the production end of things.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Stephen Floyd, do you write on a computer? Do you write with a pen? What's your?
I write directly on the computer.
Okay, good. Do you use Final Draft? Do you use any specific program for script writing?
I've been using Word, and I just use tabs because it's easier than it does what I want.
Yeah.
It's, you know, when I find I've tried 2 or 3 programs and they don't quite do everything I want, so when I find one, I'll use it. You know.
Good to know. I like to know what script writers use. So Robert, what do you use?
I actually, my go-to one is Movie Magic.
Okay.
And I've used it for years, and it's always been, it's been very good to me. Although, in the past, I have won film festivals where one of the prizes was Final Draft. And so I have both Final Draft and Movie Magic. And the nice thing about it is that you can actually move an entire Movie Magic file into Final Draft without much of a problem. So that works, because there are times when people will say, "Can we have a Final Draft version of it?" And I say, "Sure," and just transfer it over.
Just have to do it. Perfect.
A little tweaking, but you know, it goes pretty good.
Yeah. Cameron, what do you use?
Well, my handwriting hasn't changed since I was 4. It's not what people would call legible. I used to get in trouble for it in school, which I always thought was crazy, because it's not like I'm doing it on purpose. But as soon as I discovered, I can type things, I've just stuck with that ever since. So I use Final Draft.
Okay, Final Draft. And Joanne, what about you?
Me too. Final Draft.
Final Draft. Okay, perfect. Stephen Wise, how do you start a script? Do you have an idea and you start writing, or do you lay down every idea and then you build from there? Where do you start?
Usually I start with fade in, but no, it depends. Usually when I start writing something, if it's going to be like a feature script, I usually have it all outlined out, and I go through the character development and the character arcs and the 3-act structure, and get all that laid out. And then I start doing a treatment in screenplay format without all the dialogue or anything, but just get the scenes laid down to see how it flows, and then start filling in the dialogue and the action and fine tuning it.
Okay. Stephen Floyd, what about you? Do you map it out at first and then you go into the details, or not?
I write scene by scene.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can put them on 3x5 cards, and if it's not chronological, then I can
move the cards around.
I can move them around. They, for the greater impact of one way or the other. The Landudno file is chronological because it's based on a fictionalized account. So
So the linear narration story is easier to follow what happened for real.
Yes, as they go from Llandudno to Dublin, London, Paris, Frankfurt, Bonn, and then back
Okay.
to Boston. So.
Okay. Robert, what about you? How do you start the script?
I usually I get a basic idea and then I do map it out pretty strenuously. I don't use a 3-act method per se. I use what they called professionally a mini movie version, which basically it's divided into 8 parts. When I first started out writing, I wrote for television, so it was really easy for me to write the commercials. And
Yeah.
so when I was learning how to write for a movie, I basically did the same thing. I wrote towards a commercial, and I find that works better for me because then I don't get as befuddled in the second act as a lot of scripts do. But yeah, I'm pretty strict about making sure it's scene by scene.
Okay, but okay, good. Cameron, what about you? How do you start?
I used to be sort of I think they call it a seat of your pants writer, but over the years I sort of realized that wasn't really working for me, and I wasn't really happy with what I would come up with. So now I'm a pretty strict outliner. So my ideas sort of come from all over the damn place. Who's to say where those come from? But when I'll think about it for a few days or a few weeks sometimes, and then I'll start writing an outline. And once I write the outline, I can churn out I write pretty fast. And so I think the first draft for Walks Among Us took me, I think, 2 days to write. And obviously that's the first draft, so it needs a lot of work after that. But I found that once you have an outline, it just sort of pours out of you really, really quickly. And I appreciate that.
And the outline, are you talking about like pages or lines? How long is the outline?
It sort of depends on the length of the script. And I don't really set out with a plan. I'll just open a Word document and I'll start writing. I'll write out little paragraph blurbs for each scene, and then I can sort of rearrange those as need be, sort of like the index card idea. But then I think, like I said, I think for Walks Among Us, I think it was a 6 or 7 page outline. So they're usually not very long, but they give me a good idea of the characters and the direction.
Beginning, the middle, and the end, and the characters, exactly. and the arc of the characters.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Joanne, where do you start? Do you know when you start writing? Do you know the end of the script already, or do you go for it?
Well, I start with an idea, and very, very soon into it, I know the ending. So then that's when I start with that idea, write a few scenes, and because I already know my ending, then I kind of switch to outlining what will be the scenes that need to get me to that ending in the coolest way. And then because I'm in the film business, I'm very visual. I cast, so I have to show pictures and stuff. I go out to locations. I take pictures of every scene and I put it up on boards all around me. And I've just done that for every script, and it's so thrilling just to see it. I just call a place and say, "Hey, could I come and take pictures?" And they let me. It's great.
I used to do the same when I had a script, and when I know I'm going into production, I take pictures of all the sets and the locations. So you can just put it on the board or on a big document on your computer, and you can see kind of your film scene by scene. It helps me rewrite and direct.
Yeah, and it gives you really the excitement factor of there it is, there she is.
Yeah, it's becoming visual.
Yes.
So that's the point of it.
Yeah.
Going after that idea, you all have a script. Stephen, what are you doing with the script right now? Are you gonna produce it? Are you gonna sell it to someone? What's gonna be the life of Paradigm right now?
We actually are developing it right now as a feature film.
Okay.
So I've got, putting together my my producing team, and we're moving forward with it.
So you have a producing team, and you are acting as the writer of it.
I'll be directing it. Yeah.
You'll be directing it also. Is it going to be your first directing work?
First feature film. Yes, I have a number of short films.
Short films. Okay,
They've
so
won
you
awards.
have experience already. Okay. Do you have any idea when you're gonna do it? What's gonna be the time span of
We're targeting mid to late 2021.
Okay. Just wait for the COVID stuff to be a little bit more down, and then you're gonna be more free.
Well, that and finding the financing. That's always the
Of course, of course. Stephen, what are you going to do with the script, with the London file? Are you gonna produce it? Are you gonna film it? Are you gonna sell it to somebody?
I think I would like to sell it because the part that I like is writing, and I would like to participate in its production. But I'm mostly hoping someone will pick it up as a potential feature.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of action and adventure across Europe, and it's a story. It's an original story. I have never read any play, stage play, or movie about this incident.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, the Eurostar movie or the bridge movie that was between Denmark and Sweden.
I don't know this one.
I've been on
Where-
that bridge.
You've been on
Where-
that bridge, Cameron?
Someone, two people were killed, and they were in these stories, and half of each person was placed on the exact center of the dividing line between Sweden and Denmark, for authority on the bridge. They're two different people. And that they carry that into a British one that was done on the Eurostar in the middle of the tunnel under the English Channel. There is a dividing line between France and UK.
Yeah.
And that's where the story starts. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
To have really materialized the limit, the border between two countries with a line, and what's the status of the line itself? Does it exist? Is that from one side or the other?
Yeah, and so I like international stories. So
Okay, Robert. So you've been working for TV already, and you described Christmas Without Snow as a LGBT Hallmark movie. So I guess you wrote the script knowing the rules of the game and knowing the potential of that script to become a movie.
Yeah, I actually have it being shopped around right now to a couple of different Lifetime one, actually even Hallmark as well. They're looking at it. We're looking at financing. I have a director who would like to come aboard, who's already directed, I think, something like 15 Hallmark movies.
Good.
So he has a lot of whatever behind him. So we just kind of have to see what's going on. This COVID's kind of thrown everybody into a kind of a loop. But we'll just kind of have to see. The nice thing about the Christmas Without Snow is you don't have to worry about there actually being snow on the ground.
But are they going to make a Christmas movie without snow? Because I've heard that they want snow in it. So it's kind of a devious concept for the genre.
Right. It is, and there actually is snow at the end right at the end of the movie.
So
you get your snow. So you get your typical unrequited romance and your kiss right at the end, and that's it. as for all Hallmark movies.
You're gonna sell it. That's good. That's gonna work. Cameron, you said you were directing yourself. You were a director, so you need to switch your phone.
Yeah, sorry. Somebody's calling me. I'm just gonna hang up on.
Somebody's calling.
That.
That's good. You're back. Have you back?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So yeah, I'm a director and a producer as well. I have my production company. My production partner is Rookie Morgan and Teresa Richardson. In addition to them, I'm also working with a very talented producer named Johnny Hernandez. He runs a company called Oprah House Media. And I met him through a friend of a friend, and we kind of hit it off. And so we're working on producing this together, but it's sort of up in the air right now because obviously we don't know, when it will be safe to produce, what will be more feasible to do, and we have to find the funding as well.
Okay, good. Do you have any timeline for it?
I'm so sorry. For some reason, my audio isn't working now, so I'm going to plug in headphones really quickly.
Okay.
Phone call really didn't my phone. Can you repeat the question?
Do you have any timeline? Do you know when you're going to be able to see the project moving on?
Well, definitely sooner rather than later. Obviously, depending on certain circumstances like COVID and things like that. But it would be my first feature as a director, and it would be my company's first feature as well. Oprah House has done quite a few of them in the past, so I'm not worried about that. We obviously, with my company, we run a pretty tight ship, so I'm not worried about that. So it just sort of depends on a couple things that are a little bit out of our control right now, unfortunately. But hopefully soon.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Joanne, where are you with the script? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to produce it?
Well, gosh, I would love to direct it. Of course, it's already playing every night in my dreams, so I already have it out there. It's great. I'm kind of open. I really tried to enter a lot of contests lately, so I had some wins with the best comedy for it. So I thought, let me get something under it and let me throw it back out there in a different way, because I too am in the film business. So I know people, but I don't know. People keep saying I should direct it, but hey, I would be a first-time feature film director. I directed shorts, but I know that maybe won't happen. So I'm cool if someone else does it. I'm also cool maybe selling it. I don't know. But I do know that it's near and dear to my heart. Like I'm sure everyone's script is near and dear. But I'm open. And I mean, I really pretty much think after this talk, it's going to be snatched up. So it's going to be great.
So that's good. You leave all the doors open and you leave every option possible for you. Do you guys have any question for each other? Anything you want to come back to regarding a scriptwriter friend that we are having at this panel right now? Come on, guys.
Wow.
I'm the only one asking the question.
Well, I guess I would love to know how everybody found this festival.
That's a good question. How did you guys find the festival?
Well,
let's go with Robert.
Through Film Freeway. I'm not sure exactly. I think it may have come through one of the emails that were like sponsoring and saying, "Hey, this thing exists," and so I believe that's how I got involved.
Good. So we made ourselves be noticeable to you. So that's good. Robert, how did you hear about the Yucca Valley Film Festival?
Film Freeway again for me. Although I have friends that are up in the area, and they had told me about the film festival. And so they said, check it out. And I said, sure. And it was there, and I guess it looked interesting. And so I entered it.
So you see, it works. You didn't have any need to bribe anybody. You
Oh, you didn't have to bribe anybody, Robert?
The day is still young. I could bribe.
I didn't realize we could get in without bribes.
Yeah, I want mine back then.
Okay. Anything else you guys would like to know about the festival, about the other fellow scriptwriters that are here?
No, I came via Film Freeway also.
Okay, also.
And I like the idea of one close by. I'm not very far away.
Yeah, it's Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love Phoenix.
I was just in Phoenix.
Oh, it's finally gotten under 100 degrees here.
Nice.
Okay.
Cool. Excellent. So, what's the next step for you guys? For example, Cameron, what's the next step for you? Are you going to focus on producing the script, or do you have anything else on your plate right now?
Well, I'm definitely keeping at least one eye on the script at all times and sort of developing that as need be. We have we're, like I said, we're trying to stay busy and trying to do things that are COVID friendly and COVID safe. So we have a couple music videos with this artist named Strictly Elizabeth that we're developing, and I'm excited about those. I also wrote a excuse me, sorry. I also wrote a very low impact, small scale quarantine feature called "This Sucks," and it's just about people who are stuck in their apartment right now, and it sucks. And each one of the characters has a different demon that follows them around that no one else can see. And these demons are sort of the physical manifestations of their depression. And so it's a dark comedy about these people stuck in the apartment and these demons that are trying to start stuff and make their lives more difficult than they already are. And that's something that we can film pretty small scale in my apartment, small crew, small cast, things like that. So looking for just a tiny little bit of funding for that, and if we can get that, I'd love to do it. But
there we go.
Yeah, it's something that we'll see.
Okay, Stephen Wise, what about you? What's the next step? Do you have only this project you're focusing on, or do you have anything else on the plate?
Well, I've got so many things, so many irons in the fire. It's hard to keep straight what's going on. But as far as production wise, yeah, we're really ramping up the paradigm and moving forward. A lot of things have developed just the last week or so that I'm not yet at liberty to discuss, but it's looking very positive.
Okay.
That's exciting.
That is way cool.
Robert, what about you? Are you focusing on Christmas Without Snow? You said it was shopping around, so you hope somebody's going to take it, buy it, adapt it, or do you have anything else after that?
I have quite a few scripts written, done a lot of contests.
So you have a lot of content already. So you already have material to keep going.
Oh, I've got good 20 or so full-length scripts done.
Okay, Stephen Floyd, what about you? Do you have another script you're working on? Sorry, I'm going to give you the mic back. Do you have any other script you're working on, Stephen?
I have 3 or 4 based on the small town where I grew up, and they're about hypocrisy and how everybody knows all your business. One of them's a comedy about, and it's been done as a stage play. It's called Hog Squatch, and the actual town where I grew up has a Sasquatch or Bigfoot that appears every so many years. And in this story, at the same time, there's a large feral hog that's attacking the farms. And so the farmers confuse the two, they conflate them. And everything that the hog does that, is attributed to Bigfoot. So I have others.
It's interesting because each of you have many things going on in very different genres and vibes. That's very interesting. What about you, Joanne? Do you have another script coming out?
Yes, I also adore horror. So I am writing a horror script called Tour Guide of the Damned. And I can't wait to get more chances to write. I'm just so super busy all the time casting. So my big thing is no matter what, I have to make the time. It's my real big note to myself. Joan, just frickin' carve out that time. I feel for people that, want it so bad. And just, you got to make it. You got to make yourself do it. I mean, I do it all the time, but like I need to try to do it better, more time.
Yeah, it's all about just, prioritizing or figuring out where your priorities are and what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I believe that's where the film festival can really help you, because we are here to bring exposure, to bring a platform so you can talk about your scripts and your work. And we hope the Yucca Valley Film Festival is going to participate in that. And thank you guys for your time. Thank you, everybody.
I want to thank you too, because this has been very exciting, and the films are great.
Thank you very much.
To be part of this panel, so thank you.
Yeah, and be on the lookout because it's an annual film festival. which means we're going to come back in 2021. We're already very happy it's happening this year. So thank you to the town of Yucca Valley, the town council, and the people in the park and recreation department who supported us and made this festival survive. Basically, we are very happy. We started in 2019 and COVID arrived. So the festival was kind of in peril, I guess. But the work we're doing with the town is so good and so smooth that we get to do it again digitally, as you can see. But it's always a pleasure to get people from different parts of the country and internationally to talk about projects and arts. So thank you, guys. Thank you for your time and for all the ideas and for the good luck.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See y'all later.
What part of Pasadena are you in?
It's good.
Godverdomme gootstakkers, eruit kom jongen. Wat is een fucking ding waar ik helemaal dood.
Quieres café?
Fucking kapot jongen, echt waar. Lekker heel goed, man. Ja.